going on, you beautiful souls? Welcome back to another video with SRT Therapy. I'm Chris Kalis, co-founder, alongside Ashley Wenzel. She's not here, obviously. And so today, our video is going to discuss the basis of neuroplasticity. Now, neuroplasticity is one of the 5 pillars when it comes to SRT therapy. We have fascial system, nervous system, feelings and emotions, neuroplasticity, and the belief system. So those are the 5 pillars that soft stretch release techniques, or SRT therapy also known as, has been and continues to be built upon and evolved from. Those 5 pillars are the foundation to what is SRT. And so if you've never heard of what neuroplasticity is, or maybe you have, I'm just going to run you through. So neuroplasticity is a rewiring of the neural networks in the brain based on sensory input. So we're going to break that down. So what happens is, well, first of all, sensory input. Any sensory input that goes into the body is analyzed by your central nervous system. It goes right to the brain through the nerves, okay? And this is why we talk about the nervous system. But neuroplasticity is the rewiring or the reprogramming of these neural networks that have formed. So if you think that, okay, if you're looking at a ski slope and you see these paths that have been carved out by repetition and repetitive movements from skiers down the slope, down the slope. Think of that as the brain or the neural networks that have been formed. So when you are confronted with a situation or an experience, your brain has formed these neural networks or these neural pathways. And so based on what's happened to you in the past, based on the data that's been collected, or data that's been collected into your brain and then analyzed and processed, has formed these neural networks. And so the goal for what SRT therapy does is that, first and foremost, we have to understand that we now need to erase or recreate new neural networks. And we do that based on the implementation, you know what I'm trying to say. We do that by implanting new sensory input into the system. And how do we do that, you ask? Well, first and foremost, I say that a lot. I don't know why. So how do we do that? Well, number 1 is communication. So communication is key because that's a sensory input. You're either listening, you're seeing, if you're communicating signals or demonstrating something, or you're allowing them to talk. And them talking is a form of creating new neural networks because maybe they're saying things that they normally can't say. And so the goal is to create new neural networks via new experiences through sensory input. And I've got these 2 foam rollers right here to show you kind of an example and give you a better idea if you're a visual learner. And so say we've got the normal typical foam roller, high density foam roller, okay? Say you're used to using this foam roller on your chronic aches and pains, hips, back, you like to roll, right? It's more hard styrofoam. It doesn't bend. There's no real give to it. High density. So you use this day in and day out. It's painful on your quads. It's painful on your lats when you get into your back. You know, maybe it feels good when you lie on it vertically or you get your hips on it. But this is more of an aggressive approach to pain relief. And so what's happening is that your body is getting used to the feeling of this technique or this approach. So your body is getting used to the forceful or the more aggressive approach, and what's happening is that's being programmed into your system. So your brain is telling your body that, hey, this is normal, this is what we've been doing, this is how it is. You just got to deal with it. You know, if it's painful, suck it up, fight through it. But what happens is that your nervous system comes into play, and your nervous system is going to try to protect your muscular system. Your nervous system is going to amp up when it feels threatened. And so you could imagine if you were, and this is what martial artists do, they program and they temper their bodies by constantly hitting a piece of wood or the dummies or the punching bags, and they condition their body to becoming this weapon, to becoming this hard, susceptible thing. And it's the Newton's law of every action has an equal or opposite reaction. And so your body in an aggressive healing therapy is going to respond in a defensive aggressive response as well. So foam rolling on a hard surface over and over and over and over again is going to program your body to get tougher, to the tenderness or the pain that it might be feeling, and it's going to teach it or almost allow it to live in a survival state, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do when it comes to relaxation and release. And so you've been programmed on this guy over and over and over, month upon month, year upon year, and this is what your body knows, and this is what feels good, or this is what you think is what the solution to the problem is, and that's a neural network. That pathway has been formed. If you have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, get on a hard foam roller and you got to dig into it and force it to release. That's the school of thought, and that's your belief, and that's what happens, and that forms your reality. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way or the best way. It's just a way. So our goal is to create these new neural networks based on sensory input, and the sensory input now has to be new. So your sensory input is used to having an aggressive foam roller. Now, maybe you're only used to rolling yourself. So if you have me or a therapist or a trainer passively foam roll you, that's a whole different sensory input now. Your body is allowing itself to relax while somebody else does the work. We can apply the pressure while you can let yourself relax. When you're actively doing this, what's happening is you're holding yourself up. You're activating muscles to move the roller or to target your targeted areas. And so active versus passive right off the bat is a whole different sensory input. It's a whole different way for your body to react and respond. So that's new sensory input first and foremost, having somebody do it for you instead of you doing it yourself. But now what happens when we look at a different type of roller? So this is a much softer, gentler roller. It's like a rainbow. So this is called OPTP products, and this is what Ashley and I highly, highly recommend for all of our clients and for ourselves. This is what we use. And so the biggest component when it comes to sensory input is, again, you're used to one thing. Your brain has adapted to that. It's formed its belief pattern systems around it. It's downloaded. That's what you've downloaded. So now what we've got to do is, let's say, hey, maybe we're gonna make a lateral move. Not even an upgrade. You know, I can say we upgrade from iPhone 6 to iPhone 10 or 12 or 13, whatever's out there right now. But let's just make a lateral move. So we're gonna switch from one to another. One extreme to another. Aggressive, non-aggressive. Okay? So your body, your system, your mind, your brain, your nervous system, your muscles, your tissue, it's not used to this. There's no data that's been installed yet. So what's going to happen is your body is going to have a new experience. Not only rolling yourself on a soft roller, not only allowing yourself to sink in and see what it feels like to let go, not feel like you have to survive, but having somebody else do this for you in a gentle manner is going to download this new data, this new information into your system, your computer, that it hasn't ever really had yet. So it's all new. The processing is brand new. Now your brain and your nervous system are starting to say, well, hey, I've never felt this before. This is kind of different. You know, I don't really feel like it's doing anything because your programming says that this is what you need to do because this is what you've been doing. But let's give it some time. Now, as we start to accumulate some more data and we start to see a difference in how our bodies respond, well, what's happening is this neuroplasticity is occurring, is that the brain is rewiring itself based on new sensory input, new data that it's being given, that's being installed, and it's analyzing and adapting and analyzing and adapting, and it's changing. So it's giving these new networks, it's like a fresh coat of snow over all these old paths, and now we can carve out some new paths that weren't really there to begin with. And so I hope that makes sense, because when it comes to neuroplasticity, that's the goal. And so what happens is, if I have a client, or if I have multiple clients, which is usually the case, that come in, their experience on a table has usually been painful. Whether it's painful chiropractic care, or whether it's more aggressive physical therapy treatments, or whether it's more aggressive massage therapy, or even nowadays, more aggressive stretch therapy. Their brains are programmed for this. Their bodies, their brain, their body memory, their brain memory, they get on a table, they immediately go into the desired reactionary state of guarding, protecting, and surviving, because that's what they're used to. That's what they've experienced in the past, and so that's what this experience to them is going to be. And so the challenge is, right off the bat, in a first 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions, is to not try to fix. We don't try to fix anything. Is we try to understand and install these 5 pillars into our client. We teach them and talk to them about the fascial system. We teach them and talk to them about the nervous system. And more importantly, as we're talking about right now, is the neuroplasticity. We explain this to them in the context of hoping that they understand that this is a process, and that, like, when you download any new program, you have to take some time. You have to figure out how to use it, how to adapt to it, how to process it properly. And so when we upload or we upgrade our phones, or we download the newest version of whatever it is out there, things change, right? And we got to relearn, okay, you know, Facebook app has this, and now this is over here, and this has been removed, and we got to find. So it takes a little bit of time to figure this out, but it's a new system, it's new data, it's something different we're not used to. And so the body works the same exact way. It's a very genius piece of equipment. I know this is a long video. I didn't mean for it to be this long. I apologize, guys. We'll cover more neuroplasticity in another video, but I wanted to use these 2 examples. One end of the spectrum, the other end of the spectrum. Most people are used to data or collecting data from one end of the spectrum. Painful, aggressive, forceful, being told what to do, their bodies being dictated to. Our goal is to talk to your body, listen to your body, gently hold, hug, install new data, new feelings, new emotional reactions, new analytical reactions from the brain and the nervous system, new sensory input to create new neural pathways to what we do for them. All right, guys. Thanks for watching this long video. If you made it through, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we hope to see you in another one of our long-winded educational SRT YouTube videos.